let's talk Beyond the Spider-Verse. Beyond the Spider-Verse is maybe my most anticipated movie as an adult, because Into the Spider-Verse is a movie that completely changed my view of Spider-Man. I think the whole Sony animation team, Lord and Miller, like the team behind that masterpiece, improved on Miles Morales for me in a way that makes him one of, if not the greatest legacy character of all time. It adds a musicality to a character I love. It adds a flavor, a culture, an experience, a distinction. And it does all this while explaining quantum theory to children. Like, it is a movie that can be for adults and children alike, and it has quantum theory as a through line. It uses Sienkiewicz's Kingpin and the Ultimate Goblin. It uses comic imagery. It starts with a freaking Comics Code Authority logo. It uses cell shading and frame rates in ways that reinvent animation for me. And then the second one does even more and reinvents animation, brings us one of my favorite characters of all time in Spider-Man 2099, and a fun, silly take on one of my all-time favorite characters in any fiction, Scarlet Spider, and does all this while introducing the everyday person, the regular civilian, to canon events. So we get quantum theory in the first, we get canon events in the second one. It is somehow more emotional. It is somehow an evolution on animation, which they already revolutionized in the first film. So Beyond the Spider-Verse, I have said time and time again, I don't care when it comes out. As long as I'm alive, I want them to get to finish it. I want them to do it justice. I want them to land this plane however they want to, and I trust them. Delay it to 2035. I'm going to bring my kids. But I want it now. I'm glad it's got a release date of next year, but I did not mind the delays because you can only release a movie once. Looking at you, every director's cut fan. You know what I mean? Like, I want the film to be the film I want to make. And so it's probably my most anticipated movie as an adult. There have been movies that, surprised me. There have been movies I've been looking forward to, but this feeling of, I think I'm about to see the great film trilogy of my life, because Spider-Man is how I learned to read. Spider-Man is the most important character in fiction to me. Spider-Man is how I got into comics. He's how I got into media. He's how I'm doing this job. Spider-Man is the most important character in fiction to me. And he's also helped raise me and make me a better person. I named my son. I named the most important thing in the world to me, Spidey Cat, before the game. So Spider-Man is like everything, right? And to have been a part of working promo in the Spider-Man films is such an honor. To know these animators details, and to talk to Lord and Miller about Spider-Man, always an honor. But the expectation grows with each one of those canon events, and the expectation for this film grows. And I am very happy to say, I think this Beyond the Spider-Verse footage is the most impressive footage I've ever seen at a CinemaCon. This is my third or fourth CinemaCon. We get to see tidbits of 20 movies a day. So we're talking like walking out of here with 60, 80 pieces of dozens of films in our heads. And some of the most insane things I've seen have come out of CinemaCon. This footage is an evolution on that evolution of the revolution. It keeps pushing boundaries. And it's hard to quantify exactly what that is because I'm not an animator and because I got it in 2 minutes and I was kind of just shocked. It's 2 minutes of a scene, and then they gave us like a minute of, maybe it's 3 minutes of a scene, but then they gave us a minute of just like rapid fire shots and spectacle. And the scene, much like Spider-Man Brand New Day, is very emotional, very connected to family, very heartstring pulling, and it's somehow even more visually amazing than the last scene in Across the Spider-Verse that it stems from. Like, you can feel the animation leap. And it's the second the last movie ends is where we pick up. So I've seen the first scene of Beyond the Spider-Verse in its entirety. I'm gobsmacked. The skin, the framing and the distortion of the background, the lived-inness, the way, Miles Morales and Miles Morales, I don't have an accent. I will not try to do one, are different people in front of you, both being voiced by Shamik Moore, both with little details and some big details, but like details that make you can feel the difference in them in such a fascinating way. The Prowler element is, as always, incredible. The set design, for lack of a better terminology of this animation is stunning. It is in 4:3, by the way. This animation is in 4:3. So I am fascinated by what that is going to mean, how they're going to use that, what that's going to feel like in a feature film. I'm so impressed with the dialogue. It's funny. It's got a little throwback energy. It feels, it's been years and it feels like we never missed a step. Obviously, that's how you want it to feel. But like I watched this and I was just struck by the fact that I was watching Beyond the Spider-Verse footage and that I felt like home. It's so good. And again, I don't want to give too much away. I really appreciate the way the scene just lets it be emotional, the way you feel everything. And then the montage. Again, it is this incredibly bold thing to open as your footage, the first footage we're seeing of this movie, really, like beyond a few seconds here or there. We're getting to see this great dialogue scene and everything you hope it'll be. And then they cut to Spider-Gwen running up this scaffolding, and she looks just astounding. The animation just explodes. And then we get this montage. And this montage is a shot of the Spot, and he looks terrifying and commanding. And, you know, it's so funny. Like, I think the Spot is going to be the MVP and like sneaky surprise of the film, and that is exactly the Spot. Like, the Spot's whole thing is like he is misunderstood and never appreciated. That's how I think we're going to talk about it. Like, we didn't realize what he was going to be, and now he's everything. He looks incredible. He looks terrifying. We get that moment, and we also get a voiceover from different Spider voices, including Spider-Punk, and basically saying like, so we got to save your dad, and you're going to do this, and you're doing it all alone. And again, this was an hour ago now, more, and off of memory. I apologize. But all of this rapid stuff happened with the different kinds of dialogue. At one point, Peter B. Parker is jumping into, onto a mission, and he's got the baby. So he's got to give May Parker and Spider-Ham. So he gives the baby to Spider-Ham. Great jokes ensue. It's perfect. And then while all of this rapid just stimuli is coming at you, we get a couple shots that I'm still like flabbergasted by in my mind's eye. We see this like wide of all the Spider-Verses, and they're all side by side, and like this vertical lift of buildings in New York, like a stack a la Times Square. I clocked Sony and a couple other familiar logos, but it was very fast. But it's all the different universes side by side with their different animation styles. And that image is just so striking and so captivating. And it just like hits you the scope of this world and how many characters we've met and invested in. Then we get some fighting with Spider-Man 2099. It looks like we're going through universes. My thumbnail in this, one half is the poster. The other half is the shot of Spider-Man 2099 just like blowing through color. It's astounding. The footage is just stunning. I'm so happy because I've been waiting for this for so long, and it's been such a high pedestal, and I'm not worried at all. I was never worried, and now that's been validated. And now I can rest even deeper knowing that we are going to get a movie worthy of Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. And I think if it sticks the landing, this is my favorite trilogy of all time. I've given 25 films in the history of film 5 stars. 2 of those are the Spider-Verse films. If this is 5-star, best trilogy of all time for me. It is a staggering achievement, even in the footage we've seen. We found out that Lord and Miller themselves made their post-production studio next to Sony Animation. So while they were working on Project Hail Mary, which, as you guys know, I adored and had such a great time doing press for, honored to be so associated with that film, that post-production was next to this so they could help these animators out and shape and sculpt and, like, do their Lord and Miller thing.